Do you know what it feels like to be a current junior in high school who's got to go into a testing center on a random Saturday morning, sometimes in the middle of freezing winter, and take a test that, as far as he or she is concerned, dictates the rest of the success, value, potential for his or her life? Taking the SAT or the ACT is super stressful, and I decided to experience for myself what it felt like. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about my experience taking the ACT last month. Hey, what's up everybody? It's Scott at Scott Doing TV. Thank you so much for checking in. Today we're going to talk about my recent experience taking the real deal ACT. Now, why did I take it? I took the ACT because I said, look, I'm tutoring hundreds and hundreds of kids every year in test prep all over the world. I taught it this year alone, Missouri, Costa Rica, New Jersey, New York City. I have more than 50 employees on staff. I train consistently on test prep. I gotta know what I'm talking about. I gotta know what it feels like to take the real deal test so I can be that much better as an engaged mentor to my students. So I went online and I signed up to take the ACT on December 10th. Now, what I want to tell you in today's video is how it went. Here's how it went down. Here were the best practices that I employed or did not, and here's how it turned out. So check it out. Day of the test, I wake up around 6:45, 6:30, 6:45. That's later than I usually have my students wake up, but I'm a quick morning person. I didn't need that much of a lead time. And I wore smart clothes. I put on nice slacks, a button-down shirt, nice belt, a little nice scarf, and nice jacket. I looked the part. I was ready to play. Then I had a nice light breakfast. If I have too heavy of a breakfast, like, lots of eggs and bacon and French toast and syrup and butter and it just, coffee, it's too much. It makes me tired. So I go light. I had a nice hot tea. I had a handful or two of blueberries, and I had some almonds. That's it. Real light, good brain food. And I stretched out the body, and I gave myself a little pep talk, and I said, today's gonna be your day, Scott, you got this. And I said, all right, let's do this. Then I spread out on my table all the things that I needed for that day's test. And here you see on the screen a picture of all the things that I brought that day. I brought pencils. I brought calculators. That's plural, not just one calculator, two. Why? Because what happens if the first one dies? I got a second one just in case. I also brought some snacks and drinks. I also brought mints and headache medicine. And other small things that just made sure that I would have every tool at my disposal should I need them during the test. And of course, I brought the two main things I needed to bring to get into the center, my ticket and my ID. So once I had myself physically ready to go, all dressed up, I've eaten and ready to do it, and I brought all the things with me that I prepared, I jumped in the car. And in the car, I experienced the full range of human emotions that one feels during a really big build-up to a hugely important test.
Nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down. Everybody hurts. I'm amazing. I'm incredible. Don't be afraid. They just want your brain, and they're coming to get you.
Good times. I got over to the testing center. I took the test in Ridgewood High School in New Jersey. I got there around 7:40 a.m. and I got in line. And I waited for a while to move through this line where they got processed, and I was the weirdo old geezer dude, and everyone's like, okay, weird dude, why are you here? But it's cool. I was just doing my thing, and I got there, and I think the person checking me in thought I was cheating, like someone that hired me for $5,000 to take the test for them. But I showed them my ID, and I showed them, hey, I'm actually 35 years old. Don't worry, I'm not acting like I'm someone I'm not. I just want to take the test because I'm a weirdo like that. And she was like, okay, welcome. And she sent me up to the room. It was a nice quiet room. Everyone was kind of nervous, you could tell. And I just sat down and I waited for the test to start. And basically that's it. We went through the ACT, which is always the English, followed by the math, followed by a little break, about 5-6 minutes, during which I went to the bathroom and had a little snack. and then the reading section and the science section, and again a little break, after which some kids left, and then an essay. And that was it. I was started by 8 something, and I got out of there around 1 o'clock. No big deal, and I enjoyed myself as usual because I'm a total test nerd. So, what did I learn from the test and how did it go? Well, I got my results about 2 weeks after the test, and as you can see on the screen now, I got a 34. Now, a perfect score is a 36, so my score was in the 99th percentile, so I did pretty good. But I didn't get a 36 overall score. I didn't get a perfect score, which I intended to get, and I'm very, very disappointed about it. But as you see here, I got perfect scores in all the verbals. I got a 36 in English, which is grammar. I got a 36 in reading, and I got a perfect score in the essay, which is a 12. And you get sub-scores out of 12, and there are 4 sub-scores, and I got a 12 on all 4 sub-scores for an overall score of 12 on the essay. So all my verbals were perfect, but the math, I missed a question. Oh, I'm so annoyed. And on the science, you'll notice, holy cow, 29. Not even close to a perfect score of 36. I blew it. Total fail. And I was very embarrassed about it. And I actually checked in with my students after the fact and said, wow, that science was really tough, huh, guys? And all my students were like, not really. It was totally fine. I used all your techniques, Scott, and I did fine. Well, guess who didn't use my techniques? This guy. And so here's what I learned. Follow your own advice. It's hard to follow your own advice. And don't be so cocky. I went into the science section like, I got this. I don't even have to worry about it. So I didn't follow 3 or 4 of the best practices I teach to all my students. And guess what? I ran out of time. It's dumb. It wasn't that hard of a test. I just took it poorly. And it was a good reminder to me that I have to take seriously, even now, as a professional academic mentor who teaches the ACT and SAT every single day. The test can always sneak up and bite you if you don't have a healthy respect for it. So, anyway, that's how I did on the test. That's what I learned from the test. And I definitely got inside the test mind, and I could be that much better of a coach to my staff and to my students for this test going forward. I'm not satisfied with my 34. I must have the 36. And so I will find a time in the future, maybe this coming year, I'll take the ACT again, and I will get that perfect score. Thank you very much. I will also try to take the SAT. In fact, I did try to take it this last month, and they rejected me. But there is a time when the general public is allowed to take the SAT. I believe it's only once a year now. And so I'm going to find out what that month is. I'm going to try to take it. And I will report back to you on how I did on that one as well. But for now anyway, that's my quick feedback to you on how I did on my ACT just recently. The real deal ACT is not so bad. You can prepare for it and you can do fine. But there are definitely things that are best practices and things to avoid. And I will continue to bring a lot of good ideas to you through these videos for how to help your kids succeed on those tests. Until next time, thank you so much for checking in on Scott Toney TV, watching this video and learning with me as I continue to help kids to storm the test. I hope you're doing well. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.